Hello students, welcome to your CIPAR class or the Contemporary Philippine Arts from the Regions. Our topic for today is all about the various art forms found in the Philippines and their notable examples. History of arts in our country has three major periods. These are pre-colonial, colonial, and post-colonial period. First is the pre-colonial arts. Ethnic arts and Islamic arts are included. In this period of our Philippine history, this is the time where we are still not invaded or colonized by Spain and other countries. Basically, these arts are the real identity and distinction of our traditional arts made by our ancestors. Example are the virtual arts and pottery made by our ethnic groups and the sari manok designs made in the Islamic regions. Next, this started in 1565 and ended 1946. This is what we call colonial art. When we say colonial, it means to invade. So this period includes the Spanish colonization that lasted for 333 years, and American regimes that lasted 4 decades, and Japanese occupation that only lasted on the World War II. Spanish arts focuses on the religion to spread the Christianity here in our country. Basically, all the arts that existed in this period are related to religion. American arts focuses on the innovation. They brought in education and values formation. They also include American lifestyle. In Japanese arts, their arts were not paid attention to, and time was very limited since this was the time of World War II. But still, some Filipino learned to write haiku and tanaka. Next, the post-colonial art. This started when Filipinos embraced the modern art. This was from 1946 to 1970 and had a transition phase or the postmodern art from 1970 to 1980. And from 1980 up to present is now what we call the contemporary art. Now that you have learned the three major periods, let's discuss the notable art forms that can be found in the Philippines, starting from ethnic era until now, that is contemporary. It is through art that we can communicate to the world our inner feelings and our creativity that only exists within our mind. Various art forms in the Philippines are categorized into three: visual arts, applied arts, and performing arts. Visual arts includes drawing, painting, sculpture, calligraphy, and photography. Applied arts includes architecture, fashion, pottery, jewelry design, and interior design. Next, performing arts includes dancing, music, theater arts, and film productions, and literature. As we go on our topic, we will discuss these art forms and their notable examples. Visual arts are the arts created primarily for visual perception. It is a form of art that uses any medium to represent the artist's idea, emotion, and imagination. First art form under visual arts is drawing. Drawing is a representation of any form or object by hand through the medium of pencil, pen, charcoal, etc. The petroglyphs of Angono in the province of Rizal is considered as one of the first drawing in our country. Next, painting. This is more colorful than drawing. Painting is the process or art of using paint in a picture as a protective coating or as a decoration. Painting is also used to express spiritual motives and ideas. In the history of painting in the Philippines, Fernando Amorsolo was one of the most important artists. His painting was planting rice. Amorsolo was portraitist and painter of rural Philippine landscapes. Next example is the Spoliarium painted by Juan Luna. Spoliarium is a Latin word referring to the basement of the of the Roman Colosseum, where the fallen and dying gladiators are dumb and devoid of their worldly possessions. It is painted to awaken Filipinos from ignorance, blindness, mental darkness, and oppression. Another artwork is a masterpiece of Carlos Botong Francisco, entitled Bayanihan. It depicted the resilience of the Filipino people in times of need, adversity, and disaster. It showed the true character of the Philippine folks as a distinct human race. Another form is sculpture. Sculptures can be defined as a three-dimensional art form that uses materials like clay, stone, or wood for its execution. Some produce creative works using plastics, jade, brass, and other materials. One of the best examples of sculpture is the artwork in the Cordillera region, the Bulol, or also known as Tinagtago. Another example is the Bohol Blood Compact sculpture. It is made by the national artist Napoleon Abueva, a Boholano himself. This Sikatuna Legazpi Blood Compact is considered as the first treaty of friendship between two different races, religions, cultures, and civilizations. It was a treaty of friendship based on respect and equality. This event is commonly known as Sandugo. Another form of visual arts is calligraphy. It is the art of writing letters in a manner that it looks visually appealing. The perfect example of this is Alibata, or also known as Baybayin. It is a pre-Hispanic Philippine writing system that originated from the Javanese script Old Kawi. Let's move on to photography. Photography is the process of recording an image on light-sensitive film, or in the case of digital photography, via digital electronic or magnetic memory. One of the best examples captured before is the real image of the execution by firing squad of Dr. Jose Rizal by Manuel Arias Rodriguez, and the Cebu Fish Sanctuary by John K. Chua. Now, let's proceed to what we call applied arts. Applied art is a form of art that can be defined as art that has practical application as well as functionality. First art form included in the applied arts is architecture. Architecture is the art of designing and constructing buildings. The Philippine architecture adopted the modern Western architectural style, while taking into consideration of the physical and socio-cultural situation of the country. Best example is chalet. It is a type of house developed in the early 20th century design with a front porch made of wood and concrete. Another example is the St. Dominic de Guzman Parish Church in the Abukay, Bataan. It is considered as one of the oldest churches in the Philippines. Next art form is a fashion design. It is the art of designing apparel that are aesthetically pleasing as well as functional. Fashion design involves working with different types of fabrics and patterns, which are then designed into garments. These are the pre-colonial and colonial Philippine fashion. Aside from fashion design, let's go on pottery. It is one of the oldest and most widespread of the decorative arts, where objects made are commonly useful ones, such as vessels for holding liquids or plates or bowls from which food can be served. The perfect example of this is a manunggol jar in Palawan. The manunggol jar is widely acknowledged to be one of the finest Philippine pre-colonial artworks ever produced and is considered a masterpiece of Philippine ceramics. Another form of applied arts is jewelry design. It is also a different form of art and it involves the design of intricate pieces of jewelry from metals, wood, or plastic. Examples are the influence of Spanish in using pañeta. And finally is the interior design. It is the art of planning the design, layout, and style of an architectural space, be it home or office. Example is the design inside the San Agustin Church. Let's now move to the last category of art forms, the performing arts. It is a creative activity that are performed in front of an audience, such as drama, music, and dance. Of all the different forms of art, it is much appreciated and enjoyed by people. The first among these art forms is dance. It is a performing art form consisting of purposefully selected sequence of human movement. The Philippine dance has played a tremendous role in Filipino culture. From one of the oldest dated dances called the tinikling to other folkloric dances such as the pandango, cariñosa, and sobli, and even to more dances like the ballet and festival dances. Next is music. It is a form of art that combines vocal or instrumental sounds to create a composition. During the early American period, the music of the country is mostly classical due to the influence of European. The rondallas or the string band remain even up to the present. The harana or kundiman, choir music, and the OPM or the original Pinoy music. Next, the theater and film. A form of performing art is theater and films. Both the theater and films use stories that capture the imagination of people. In the Philippines, the American introduced the vaudeville or stage show. However, during that time, it was composed mainly of songs, dances, and skits. Another examples of theater are Sinaculo, Moro Moro, and Zarzuela. When it comes to film productions, these are the Philippine movies and cinema. Last, the literature. It is the art form of language, and words are its tools. Examples are the novels of Jose Rizal, which had a big role in our country. And that ends our lesson for today. You may now proceed to answer week 2 on your activity sheets. Happy learning!